What is up guys? Nico here, welcome back to another video here on the channel, and for today, let's talk about ultra-wide angle lenses. Now, the first time I researched about ultra-wide angle lenses was way back in 2009 when I was dabbling in photography, or I was starting to go into photography. Now, based on that research, back then I learned that ultra-wide angle lenses were widely used, pun intended, by landscape photographers, by architectural photographers, and real estate photographers. Now, architectural photographers, they use this so that, you get to get the whole building inside one shot. Now, for landscape photographers, I think that's pretty obvious. If you want to, let's say, take a photo or a video of the sea and you want to include as much of it in the shot, or some mountain ranges, then an ultra-wide angle lens is an obvious choice for your lens. Now, for real estate photographers or videographers even, I think this is also obvious, since if you want to take like the whole shot of the house, or you are going to shoot the inside of the house, the interiors, the rooms, when your back is already against the wall and you still couldn't get that shot, I think an ultra-wide angle lens is a must in these types of situations. But nowadays, there is another category of camera owners that are a market for ultra-wide angle lenses, and these are the vloggers. Like me. An ultra-wide angle lens is important for vloggers because usually when you are vlogging, especially if you're the run and gun type, walk around type of vlogger, then you would want to show where you are, the place, the people you're with. So it is hard, to feature all of that when you are just on a standard lens, like a standard focal length. So yeah, it is a highly coveted type of lens for vloggers. If you've read the title, then you've read that the title says the Sony 10-18 lens. So the question is, why am I talking about the Sony 10-18 millimeter lens? Before I answer that, let me talk a little bit about this lens. The Sony 10-18 millimeter is a lens made for the aps-c or crop sensor line of Sony. So these are your a6000s, a6300s, a6400s, and the latest release in the aps-c line, the Sony ZV-E10. Next question is, I am using a full frame Sony body, so why am I talking about an aps-c lens for my vlogging? Simple answer to that is because I saw Matty Hapoya do it, so I got intrigued. What's intriguing about this lens is that most aps-c lenses, when you put it in a full frame body of Sony, because they have the same mount, so physically you can do it, will have some sort of vignetting if you don't use the aps-c mode in your full frame camera. The latest lens that I tried with this was the Tamron 17-70 f2.8 lens, and across all focal length ranges, it had the vignetting. Now, when Matty Hapoya used it, the vignetting disappeared at around 12 millimeters. So that's what I'm going to try right now. Also, I'm going to compare the 10-18 with the current ultra-wide angle lens that I own, which is the 17-28 from Tamron f2.8. So I am going to compare this, number one, focal length, especially for vlogging. Number two, its low light performance. Number three is, for the bokeh lovers out there, is the background blur, because this only opens up until f4, while the Tamron opens up to f2.8. We'll also compare the weight and the size of these two lenses, and of course, last but not the least, the price. All right, so this is the test of the focal length of the Tamron 17-28 f2.8 lens, and this is at 17. If I'm going to show you this is how far I'm holding the camera. So I'm going to hold the camera the same way later on with a 10 to 18. But yeah, this is a vlogging view with this lens. You can see a lot of the background. So 17 millimeters on a full frame is definitely enough for vlogging. Alright, so this is the view, the focal length at 10 millimeters, but as you can see there's vignetting, so I don't want to use it this way, so I'm going to put it at around 12 millimeters. So as you can see, this is 12 millimeters wider than the 17 millimeters, so much wider. I'm going to show you. Still the same way, holding it, and I'm going to put it side by side my shot earlier of the 17 millimeter focal length of the Tamron. This is again the Sony 10 to 18 at 12 millimeters. Both of them both of the shots are on active steady shot, so you've got around 1.1 times crop. So yeah, I think this is a more comfortable angle, because if you get tired, you can actually bring in the camera, fold your hand like this, and it's still a good vlogging angle. I can see the frame, it's still wide enough, you know, for vlogging. Alright, so when it comes to the focal length, if you're a vlogger, then I think hands down the 10 to 18 is a much more comfortable lens to bring with you compared to the Tamron 17 to 28, because you could actually bring in your hand or your arm closer to you and you will still have a decent view of what's behind you. Now this will matter if you are a bokeh lover, because as you can see in my examples, you will not get as much background blur with an f4 as compared to an f2.8 like this. Now when it comes to the weight, the Sony 10 to 18 weighs 220 grams while the Tamron weighs 420 grams, so that's almost double when it comes to the weight of these two lenses. Now when it comes to the price, even though this is an aps-c lens, which is usually a cheaper option than full frame lenses, they do not differ that much. On B&H, the Sony 10 to 18 costs $898 and the Tamron 17 to 28 costs $899. That's $1 difference. So in essence, they're like at the same price point when you're buying them brand new today. So right now, the question is, will I buy a Sony 10 to 18? Probably right now, no, because the focal length of the 17 to 28 of Tamron is enough for me. But if I have extra funds to get an extra lens, then I will probably consider it, especially if I go on trips where I will vlog a lot. My problem with this is that right now, if I use the 17 to 28 and I only bring one lens, I could go as far as 28 millimeters, and you could still extend that with the crop mode at 1080p with the A7S III. But if I just bring one lens, and this is the only lens that I bring, I would go only up to 18 millimeters, which I think, you know, for some shots is very, very wide. So if you are going to bring this, then you will have, you know, all wide shots in your footage, unless you have, you know, a secondary camera which is pocketable, which you will use to take, you know, all your tighter shots, all your B-rolls that you will use in your video. How about you? Tell me what you think about the Sony 10 to 18 millimeters on a full frame body of Sony. Put it in the comments. Tell me, is it a good idea to, you know, have this as your dedicated ultra wide angle lens for your full frame camera? And that's it for today's video. I'd just like to say I'd appreciate you highly for still being here in this part of the video. And please, if you like this video, I'd highly appreciate if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you like videos like these and you still haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you'll get notified whenever I upload new videos. Also, like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.